Hey, it's Glenn from War for the West here. I want to respond to something Steve just said in his commentary on the Iran-Iraq war. And essentially, what he's doing is he's saying, "Hey, look, Tulsi, you told us in March that there was no issue, no problem, no risk, no weapons of mass destruction." And that's not what was said at all, by the way, in the intelligence assessment that she was citing, she was speaking from, Steve. And I think that you've either been bamboozled by people who lied to you, or maybe you didn't read this yourself. But I'm gonna basically, we're gonna listen to what Steve has to say, and then I'm gonna show you kind of where things stand, and hopefully we'll be able to get to a place where we can all make some sense of this going forward, based on facts instead of misinformation.
That these decisions you're just getting inexorably drawn in. Now we have all of our basically air assets that are ready to launch combat sorties on Tehran and whatever else happens. They're in place. So it just takes, it's not like you make a decision, well, it'll take us a week to get there. They're in place. The tankers are over there. We can do in-tank refueling. So I think in the next 24 to 48 hours, a decision could be made. And that's why I'm getting more and more vocal, not less vocal, that we need to go full stop right now. We need to find out exactly, because there's too many moving pieces. The moving pieces about exactly what's going on, what's the risk. We haven't had a full debate about this, and I would like to see some voices come forward. I'd like to see Tulsi Gabbard come forward and tell us, has anything changed in DNI, which is 17 agencies, including the CIA for this? Has anything changed from what you told the public at a hearing in March? Is it, if it's changed, let's just hear it. I would like to have John Ratcliffe go to the sticks when you get.
Okay, so you can see very clearly that Steve's making a key point about what he believes is information that he's relied on to determine that Iran isn't a threat right now, right? So I'm sorry, Steve. I don't know where you get your information from, but like maybe we should read what is actually said in the assessment, and then go look what the report actually says. Let me make myself a little smaller here so you can easily read this. Just the top line is what's important here. We continue to assess Iran is not building a nuclear weapon, that Khamenei has not reauthorized the nuclear weapons program he suspended in 2003, though pressure is probably built in him to do so. That's the claim made, and that's what everybody's hanging their hat on. No, all she's saying, all that report says is that they are not building a nuclear weapon at this moment. The second comment about the 2008 program, it's an utterly meaningless statement. Like you could start a new program. You should be that. This, by the way, I've been reading this kind of stuff for a long time, so my alarm bells go off immediately when I read some stuff like this. So what do I do instead? Well, I go to the actual report. So this is the declassified version of the annual threat assessment document that the DNI produces based on the 17 intel agencies it's taking data from, by the way, who don't all report to Tulsi. She's not in charge of all them. Right? The DNI is, in many ways, an administrative function for pulling together and coordinating the intel community as much as anything else. Seeing her as having some seat at the table, driving decision-making, is an absurd misunderstanding of what the DNI does, first principles. But let's not get down that rat hole, because that frustrates me to no end. The people that, like the vaunted Tulsi Gabbard now is going to fix everything. Total lightweight in my estimation, and very left in many ways, which should concern you. Here's what it actually says. You may have read it already because you might have been curious. So let's just take a look at what this report actually says. Tehran will try to leverage its robust missile capability and expanded nuclear program. What? Expanded nuclear program. What? And its diplomatic outreach to regional states, U.S. and rivals to bolster its regional influence and ensure regime survival. So, actually, what the ITA says is that Iran is indeed expanding its nuclear program. Wait a second. How do you reconcile those two things? Well, this is classic deep state stuff, by the way, which is one of the reasons I'm really surprised about this. Because, like, Steve, bro, dude, like, I mean, did you get rolled by the deep state here? Because the deep state has been pretending Iran doesn't have weapons for 25 years now, almost, since early 2000s. Why? Because if they admitted there was a nuclear weapon that they were building, we'd have to go to war with them. And see, we've got too many people embedded in our intelligence services and the State Department, other places, who believe that we're utterly wrong-headed about the world, and that, you know, the way we see Islam doesn't make sense, and we're the bogeyman creating all these problems. I can do another video on that one. I'll go on that one for 9 hours. Anybody who wants to get in with me will we'll fire it up, we'll do a recorded debate and save it. Like, we can debunk that at another time. But the truth is, there's a lot of people who want to see Iran as not a threat, so they can make these, so they can support Iran and demonize Israel. And this intelligence report is a product of those people. But they can't get away with it because the evidence is too overwhelming. And so let's focus on what really matters. So what does it take to kill people with nuclear weapons? You've got to have the fissile material, which is the uranium, right? Well, they've already enriched to 60%. You don't need to go you don't need to go much further. It's like up to 90-something% to like become weapons grade, but the process of doing so is days or weeks to get from 60 to where you need to be. So effectively, in the real world, they're there in terms of being able to enrich uranium because they can jump. They can what do they call it? A breakout to do it. What else do they need? They need the missiles to deliver the nuclear warheads. Correct? Well, they've been building the missiles. They're incredibly good with the missiles, man, and they're a huge threat with missiles. So in fact, let's actually talk about that before we wrap up. So here's a guy he has a horrible name, but you should know you should appreciate him anyway for what he's done because he's a military Air Force geek. He's just amazing. He knows something about missiles and whatnot. So here's what he points out: all the weapons that are problematic in the region come from Iranian missile factories. Most U.S. casualties in Iraq were caused by sophisticated off-route EFP mines mass-produced in Iranian factories. The rockets fired at Israel in such massive quantities that it threatened to deplete Israeli drone interceptor stocks and overwhelm their systems, mass-produced by Iran. The drones and missiles the Houthis used to close the Bab el-Mandab Strait and thus the Suez Canal, one of the most economically vital sea lines of communications in existence, mass-produced by Iran. The SRBMs being fired at Ukraine by Russia, mass-produced and delivered to them by Iran. Massive heavy MRBM arsenal they've been attempting to mass murder Israeli civilians with and have used to threaten and coerce everyone else in the region, including as far as southern Europe and Italy, mass-produced in Iran. None of this happens without Iranian mass weapons production, folks. Okay, so what am I trying to say to you now? What am I trying to say about all this? I think Steve's made an analytical error, a rare one, because he's smart. And I would assume if he gets better information and sees that the DNI, the actual intelligence assessment says that the nuclear threat's getting worse, not that it doesn't exist, I'm hoping he would change his position. Because he's trying to base his opinion on facts. And if there wasn't a threat, I would be with him. I mean, I've been told for almost 25 years Iran isn't a threat. This is the game our intel service has been playing. And meanwhile, Iran's been building up massive capabilities that make it a massive problem and a massive threat. So I just want to have this factual conversation to make clear that I think relying on this one phrase in that threat assessment and ignoring the rest of what it says is like a really big intellectual and analytical error here, Steve. So I'm hoping you correct the error because I couldn't be a bigger fan of you, man. I have so much respect for what you've done in your life. I wish I'd lived a life as consequential as you have as a major officer in surface combat, leadership role, gone to great schools, you sophisticated investment banker. You've started GAI and helping found Breitbart and so many other things you've been involved with, dude. I have nothing but mad admiration for you. But if I think you're wrong, I've got to say it, and I think you're wrong based on the facts, not on my feels, not on emotions, but on the facts. So, by the way, I wouldn't bother to do this video for anybody else out there. Not that I matter. I'm nobody, okay? I get that. But like Tucker, he's an ass clown. I mean, you're sitting at the same table. I could see the way you had to like grimace and bite your tongue half the time, like at the errant crap he was saying. You're not Tucker Carlson. Dude, by the way, that's the last thing. You should distance yourself from that guy. That guy's going down. He's just because he's wrong. I don't care if he's wrong and he's kind of stupid. He's also got a very weak character. He just does, man. His whole life is a testament to the weakness of a man's character, okay? So that's not you, Steve. You're the opposite of Tucker Carlson. So please don't fall into the trap he's fallen into. Take these facts and information into account and reassess how you see Iran as a threat if that's what's really holding you back here. Okay? Again, I appreciate so much of what you do and have mad respect for you. And thanks for everything you've done for this movement, man. You probably, without you, we'd really be lost already. So with respect.